airbag in your bag?
No, I don't, sadly. But we are diagnosing a transmission on a 04. It's 04?
I think so.
Yeah, Ford Focus 04 with dual overhead cam, automatic transmission. So we're just removing the pan first, loosening up each one of these bolts. We're going to keep 2 bolts on each side so we can drain out the pan. Once we get it off, we'll go ahead and show you what we're trying to diagnose. Alright, so we removed every bolt except for 2 in the front and, well, 1 in the front and 2 in the back, and so we're just letting it drain out into a litter box because that's the best thing you can use to catch all this fluid. And some transmission pans are a lot bigger, but we're just letting it empty out on one side, then we'll drop it down a little bit more and we'll let it empty out more, and then you just have to pull this whole pan out with the fluid in it, and we got to clean it up. Alright, now we're taking down the pan. We drained it out mostly, so now I'm just going to gently see if I can get any more fluid out. Can't, so we're just going to... Is it coming off?
Yeah.
Boom. Alright. Get the rest of that fluid out. And drop away the pan. And then we can just grab it.
Can you kneel there?
No. Okay. Woo. Alright. So when you inspect your pan, you want to be looking for this magnet. You're going to clean that off, clean this entire pan off. You're going to reseal this gasket if you have a reusable gasket with some high temp grease. And then now what we are working on is actually...
Where's the valve?
Oh my gosh, was I not recording that whole time? I wasn't recording the whole time. So we took the pan off and we took the filter off, which the filter is in our fluid. This is what the filter looks like. It goes right there. You just drop it down and there's going to be a ton of fluid coming out of here. We're just expecting this because we're going to see what we can do with that. And then now this is the transmission pan. You're going to re-grease this, clean off that magnet, put it right back, clean that out. You're going to put it back on, fill it up with fluid, and that's how you do a transmission filter change and fluid change. Now we're going to just diagnose the transmission. Alright, so we're removing the solenoid body, valve body. We removed all the clips, and we did these 2 longer bolts. Now we're doing the ground. That's a really short ground. Yeah, so it's not the ground. So we're trying to figure out where this other bolt is. So we removed this bolt and this bolt. And there's a gasket in between them, so maybe it might be these side ones. There's a couple bolts on the side, so we're going to actually remove those and see what happens. Except for that one, because that one's actually hooked up to a solenoid. So, gotta do it on the side. Alright, so we found out it was the shifting linkage up in here, so you just remove this rod to the shifting linkage. Then we're going to be removing these housing with 2 bolts, and it's going to be a 5/16. And I don't know if I need to remove this yet, but I'm going to go ahead and remove this housing real quick and see what I'm doing. Alright, so we took everything off. We actually had to take that valley off, so you just disconnected all these. And we took the shifting rod linkage off and everything, so we're going to this cover, and we think that's the actual problem. That should be the intermediate band solenoid. And so he's just removing the rest of the fluid right now. Lots of fluid being drained out. We should see what's going on now. It's not coming. Because this is all you need to do to remove that band, I think.
Okay, pop that loose.
Oh, you're gonna...
Let me just see if we can pry it at all.
That's always worth a shot. Yeah, you're moving the whole transmission. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to remove this rod, and then we'll get up underneath this. Alright, so we got the cover off, and we can see that the solenoid is fine. This is where that solenoid would be. Where's the piece for the solenoid? This is what the solenoid, the new solenoid looks like, and this is what the other solenoid looks like, and it looks fine, but the problem is the intermediate band, as you can see, we can move it around like crazy. So now what we got to do is we got to drop the engine mount and the transmission, remove this cover right here, and replace that intermediate band, put everything back together, and it'll be fine. Alright, we're back again. It's the harmonic, what is that? Is it the, what is it? The band?
Some band.
It's a band. It's a band in the transmission that's jacked up. So we gotta drop the transmission. So we're gonna remove the battery tray, the engine mount, one of the engine mount bolts, put a jack underneath the transmission, jack it up, and let it down, and then we gotta remove this whole plate housing down here. We already removed everything else, and we drained out the pan. We realized that's exactly what the problem is after diagnosing it. So that's what we got to do. But first we're going to remove the battery and all that first. Got 10mm nuts on here, and then we're going to go start with that. So show you what it looks like when we get that battery tray off. So we got the tray out. It was a couple 13s, 2 13s right here, and then a 13 right here. As you can see, battery and tray is out. So now we're going to be getting a jack and putting it underneath. It's going to need some deep socket 14s, and then I'm guessing this is like a ½ inch right there, or a 5/8 or 3/8. So we'll get this all undone because this looks like the mount to me. Once we do that, we can drop the transmission and remove those bolts. Alright, we placed the jack underneath. We have it right on the bell housing where the engine meets the transmission, and then we're going to be getting that all done. We're replacing the intermediate band. This bad boy here. There's supposedly no videos online yet, so exclusive footage at Richwood Automotive. Alright, so let's get this undone. We'll get this transmission dropped, and then we'll be able to remove those bolts. Alright, we used a 7/8 deep socket with a breaker bar, and now we're just breaking it all the way loose with the drill. It feels like the transmission just flipped out. Did you feel that? So we got that. I'm going to tighten up a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and drop the jack and see what we got. You want to lower the jack and see what happens?
What do you think about these guys?
I think those are the plate. That's just a plate to keep it on there, because those are facing up, you know.
Yeah.
You're not no me. They're just facing up there. Just very slowly. See if we can drop that out. Oh yeah, it's dropping. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Gotta keep going down. That's what that's what she said. Okay, just crank it up a little bit so that way we know it's not gonna drop down all the way. Alright. That's one big bolt, or nut. That's what she said. Alright, go ahead and lower it. Keep going. Keep going. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
It's tied to the actual engine. We gotta be careful.
Yeah, you definitely got to. But can we finagle it? I think we might be able to finagle it from here. Yeah, I think we can get a socket in there, actually. So, all right, we're gonna try and take this plate off now with some sockets. All right, so after removing this 7/8 bolt, you actually have to remove these ones as well to get the transmission to drop all the way. And these are 15s. So I use a breaker wire to get them pretty loose. And now I'm actually going to finish them off. Wow, see? This thing's powerful. God, they're barely coming, so you just got to get them off. Oh gosh, I need my hand. Alright, go ahead and drop it down. Drop it like it's hot.
I can't see what it's doing.
Yeah, it's slowly going. Just a little bit more.
How things going? Can you drop down a little bit? Okay.
A little bit more.
There's no weight on it.
Oh yeah, okay, tighten it back up. Get it back up there.
Crank it up?
Yeah, crank it up. Just right where you're touching it. There you go. Alright, so I think that's as far as we can go. And there's no tension on these bolts anymore, so I think that's all we can do, and then we just got to break those loose and then we're good. Alright, so we had it on bolt, this bolt here, a bolt right here and this bolt right next to the JC Penney box. So you're just going to grab right where the JC Penney box is. And you're going to pull up. And you should be able to remove this. And then you'll be able to get to the rest of the engine mounts with the open-ended box wrench, or the cover plate for the transmission with the open-end box wrench, which we're going to do right now. Make sure to use PV Blaster or WD-40 because we already stripped on the screws. So we're kind of jerry-rigging it right now. So I'll show you what happens once we get it off. So we're trying to see if we can fit any of these 10 millimeters in there. We're going to see who's 10 millimeters bigger. Oh man, mine got you.
A millimeter.
That's what they say. I'm the millimeter Peter, but I got a millimeter on you. So you just got to use an open end box wrench to get down in here. We dropped the transmission as far as we could go. We're gonna just wait for that PV Blaster to get this last one because we got 2 more to go. But there's just too much tension on that one, and I already stripped it with the open-end box wrench, so we're just gonna hold off and see if we can get any penetrating grease so that we can get in there and get it. So it's a waiting game, but we almost got it. Alright, so I got some PV Blaster for this bottom one because it got stripped out, and then once we get it stripped out, you can go buy another one. You just gotta make sure it's measured right and everything, because then we'll be spending that time. Alright, so once you get that on there, you want to PV blast it. This stuff is so good. Get that penetrating oil, and you're going to tap it with a hammer so that penetrating oil can get in there. Alright. I think it's good to go. You want to go ahead and try it? Well, you're going to have to head back out and get another bolt for us. Just hit Home Depot or Lowe's and they'll have the bolt for you.
Yeah, if you can get that thing off.
Alright, do it nice and slow. I can push it down if you want to hold it.
Real slow.
Come on, sweet Jesus.
I can't tell what it's doing.
Oh man, it feels like it might be stripping. It should be. I can't tell.
Does it have any edges on it at all?
No, it does.
It does?
Yeah, but
Not anymore.
Hmm?
yeah, not anymore
It's
since.
got new edges.
Yep. What do you feel like it's doing?
It turned.
It turned? We broke it? We broke it, the nut. Yeah, get that bad boy just off of there.
Is that it?
You broke it? That's why you trust the PV Blaster.
Yeah.
WD-40 is a joke compared to PV Blaster. The PV Blaster will work every time. All the time. Boom. Alright.
Or just leave it in there and screw it back in.
True. We could do that. But then, the next person.
No, who cares about the next person? Not our
Alright, yeah, whatever. We're just gonna leave it in there. There it is. We made that fit and it looks good. Now we just gotta take this plate off. What we had to do is we had to jack it up top and take off the 2 top bolts and then jack it down so that way we can get all these bolts down. So we'll show you what it looks like when we take the plate off. So now we're testing out that piston to see if the piston works. And it was under pressure, so I should see the tip of it. Is it pushing up? Yeah, I see it. It looks like it's fine. You can see that piston pushing up right over here. Gotta try it one more time. Yeah, I see that pushing up. It's pushing up fine.
Hmm.
And then so this is the old band. So this is the, what is this called? Intermediate band. So this is how it was positioned in this transmission. Come on, get down. So it's positioned like this, as you can see. So once you get this plate off, the plate right here, with all those bolts, you're gonna just take your finger, pull it right here, and then get your finger up underneath here, and you're just gonna pull it out. It's a lot easier when I was using two hands. Boom, just like that. And then you're gonna take your new intermediate band, dump it in your transmission fluid, and then you're gonna replace it. Slide it in there underneath, just like that. You want to get it up above that piston, and that's how you replace the intermediate band.
So those look tighter?
Yeah, it definitely looks tighter, and it doesn't look like it's moving as much. So it looks
So we
like
try to get this rod out of here and change out the piston.
you want to change out the piston too.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to remove the rod to put the casing back on anyway. So.
All right, yeah, might as well change the piston while we're doing that. But I think that spring is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it is definitely under pressure, but it won't be as hard to put back in
I feel
because
like-
we'll be able to put it, use the plate to push it up.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to remove the piston. All right, now we're just doing the plate, and I used a ton of high temp grease on this this O-ring right here on the outside, and then we're using some pressure to bring up that solenoid. Then we're going to put this plate in there and tighten it up, and then that's going to be it. We're good to go. And then we can put everything back together. All right, so we had to use a breaker bar and jack it up and lower it just to get that piston to compress. Once we got it compressed, we're just throwing the plate on, and we're just moving it ever so slightly with the hammer. Then we'll get the bolts and just bolt it in, and then we're good to go. And then we can bolt back the whole solenoid relay, and then refill the fluid, tap this bolt back on this plate, re-put on the linkage, and put the pan back on with a new filter, and it should be good. We gotta put all that stuff back on. My recommendation, after doing the intermediate band, we made sure the solenoid was good. We actually put back on the plate after lowering and uppering the jack, and you see the plate, it's back on. Shifting linkage is on. We just gotta tighten it up. Honestly, would you just destroy the transmission before doing this?
Blow up the whole car before I do this.
I mean, if you really want your car, go ahead and do this, but I would replace the transmission. If somebody quotes you $1,500 to do this, they're actually being fair. Other than that, that's how you do the, what is it called again?
Intermediate band?
Intermediate band. The intermediate band. The intimidation band. The irritating band. I don't want to do this ever again, but you're welcome, YouTube. Alright, well thanks folks. Hope you get it done. Good luck to you. I'm just going to put this all back together. I'm not going to record anymore because I spent like 3 nights on this transmission. So, good luck. Have fun. Hopefully you get this done just as quick as we did. And have a good one.